Hey guys, we have search and rescue training coming up in December, fire department training, so it's going to focus around search and rescue. So we wanted to prepare a little bit of a visual aid for you so that you have a really good grasp of what we're going to be looking for when training comes. We're going to go through several different drags and victim removal techniques so that you have this aid to practice a little bit, think about it, talk about it as a crew, and you're ready to rock and roll when you come through fire department training in December.
Go!
Victim, victim, victim. You can see here my partner's getting the victim prepared. He's getting him onto his back and he sits him up. I get my strap out of my pocket. Got to capture the crotch here or else we're not going to be successful getting the victim out. I get it up into the crotch. I cross it over itself so that I've got the crotch and I've got the upper torso captured with my strap. At this point, my partner's going to lead me to safety.
Door. Open the door.
You can see how we've got the victim here. He's not going to come out of this harness, and it's real easy to move this guy out of the bad environment in a hurry. Okay, so in the event that one firefighter enters the room, maybe in a VEIS situation, I'd be in by myself, my partner's standing outside on the ladder, or if it's a first floor VEIS, he's standing outside on the ground. But in any case, there's two of us working together. One of us entered the room, isolated and searched and found a victim. My partner is waiting outside to see whether or not I need to bump that person in to assist me, or if I really need him waiting outside to receive a victim. In this case, I've made the decision that I want to leave my partner outside to receive the victim. So how do I get this guy to the window? I orient my victim so that his feet are facing the window, and we're going to drag him over their feet first. I get under his leg, and I put his knee in basically a headlock on his knee. Get good and wrapped up in there, and stand up. You can see that most of the victim's weight is off of the floor, and I drag him back to the window. We get as close to the window as possible and get his knees bent right under the window. I then transition around, get behind the victim, get underneath him, wrap him up, and you can see now that his knees create somewhat of a fulcrum for me to stand up and pass him out the window to my partner. Okay, same situation, VEIS. I bumped into the room by myself. I left my partner outside, but the victim is oriented already with head towards the wall. I may want to reverse that and get the feet towards the wall like I just showed you, but maybe I forgot, or maybe I don't want to waste time turning this person around to orient them the way that is really ideal. So I get my victim to the window in any way possible, and I lay him below the window. How's he going to go out that way now? This is kind of violent on the patient, but if it's a matter of life and death, it's something we may need to do. I'm going to get between the legs, pick the person up, legs first, and pass them out the window this way. You can see that this is violent on the person's head and neck, so it's kind of a last resort. It's not my first choice by any means, but it absolutely works.
3, 2.
Okay. This case, I've got two rescuers in here. We're a search team. We located a victim, and I'm going to have my partner, Zach, bring the victim to the door, and I'm going to guide him. We're going to do what I call the inchworm removal. I just don't know a better name for it. It's it's kind of tedious, it's very physically demanding, but it absolutely works. So we find a partner and we find a victim. My partner sits him up because my partner is going to be the rescuer. He's going to reach through under the arms and he's going to grab the victim's one forearm. Notice he does not grab the other arm. He just grabs the one forearm, and he doesn't really have a grip because of our bulky fire gloves. So you just simply hook your hands around the one forearm. This is important because if you try to cross the victim's arms like we do patient removals out of a medical call, if this victim has been burned, there's a good chance that skin's just gonna slough right off his arms. So if we pull just straight back on the forearm there, we're not gonna lose that skin, we're not gonna lose that grip. So what we're gonna do is he's got him wrapped up, we're gonna start moving towards the door, and it's very slow, but go ahead and move. Move. And move. This way, this way, this way. Now, notice that as my rescuer drags that victim back, he's up on one knee, and he kind of does the set and post. He sets that knee and drives back and pulls that victim back. That's why you're not gaining very much ground with this technique, but again, it absolutely works should your strap not work for some reason, or you don't have a strap or something like this. This absolutely works. Okay, so the focus of our training so far has been civilian victim rescue. We're gonna do one firefighter rescue evolution, although this is not meant to be RIT drills. I just want to clarify and be sure that we all understand that civilian victims are a different thing. They don't have all the purchase points and grab handles for us to use like a firefighter victim does. Although a firefighter victim is going to be extremely difficult to remove and to handle, there are some techniques that we can use using their equipment that helps us facilitate moving. A civilian victim doesn't have the shoulder straps and the waist belts and things like that to help us move. So, talking about a firefighter victim, without getting into the swapping a mask or transfilling and checking a mask seal and stuff like that, that's not what we're talking about today. But what we want to demonstrate is that if we don't properly prepare a firefighter to be drugged across the floor, there's a good chance we're setting ourselves up for failure. So our primary drag straps is already on the firefighter. It's the shoulder straps of the SCBA. But if we just start dragging this guy without preparing the air pack first, again, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So when we find the firefighter victim, we go through the RIT procedure, checking the air, checking the mask, transfilling, doing whatever we need to do. If we're not going to do any of that, we're just going to use what equipment he's already got on. We're going to start by positioning the victim onto his back, or at least onto his side, so that the waist strap buckles are accessible. First thing we're going to do is loosen up this waist strap completely. Next, we unbuckle the waist strap and run it through the crotch. There should be plenty of room to get that through the crotch, and then you retighten that waist strap because we don't want any play in this pack. Again, we don't want it riding up on this victim's shoulders and high back, because then it's going to be pushing the helmet down, it's going to be dislodging the mask, and it's just not conducive to what we need to do. So we've got the victim packaged basically in a harness. We get our hands under the shoulder straps and we can go. Now, if this guy's like me and likes wearing his shoulder straps tight, you might have trouble getting your hand through the shoulder straps. If that's the case, it's okay to loosen the shoulder straps a little bit, because the waist strap is really what's holding that pack in place. So get whatever purchase you need, loosen the strap if you need to, and then get ready to move. And we're going to move on 3. 1, 2, 3. Reset. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you can see this pack is still down right about where it started, because we've captured the firefighter's crotch.
So you've heard Lieutenant Maloney talk about the different types of drags we're going to be doing in training. Feel free to try these out. Again, just to recap, we're going to have the one rescuer to the window, the one rescuer to the window going the wrong way, which we're going to use in our worst case scenario, the one rescuer inchworm, the fireman SCBA drag. And the important thing to remember is a lot of these drags are going to be necessary in high heat situations. Anytime you've got a clear room, anytime you can see your feet, feel free to stand up, get as much of the body up off the ground. Use your straps. Make sure you're using your legs and not your back. Nobody wants to get hurt when we're doing this, certainly in a training scenario. We don't want to do it if we have to do it in an actual rescue scenario either. But make sure that if you're in a high heat situation, you're down on the ground using the inchworm, take a moment, try these out, review these with your crews. Thanks.